I hope I'm clearly audible, Anjali.
Yes.
Great. I would like to request all the speakers and attendees to kindly switch on your webcams. We shall begin the conference in 2 minutes from now. Mr. Pawar, if you could just notify us once we are live. I would like to request the attendees to kindly switch on your webcams. Rutvik, Paki Chatterjee, Yogesh Lakpatni, Narendra Singh, please do us the pleasure. Great. Mohit, even you, if you could just switch on your webcams. Great. Okay, no issues. That's better. Pratham and Narendra. Good evening, Mr. Rehan. If you could to switch on your webcam, it would be a pleasure.
Good evening.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm P. Sharman Kumar, the founder of SK Associates and Group, and it's a pleasure to be your host for Conference 2.1. Today, we'll be discussing the emerging role of product development for market penetration in the startup ecosystem.
Hello everyone, I'm Anjali Singh, the Chief Strategic Alliance Advisor at SK Associates and Groups, and I'll be your co-host for this conference. To make this virtual event more interactive, we kindly request all participants, including speakers and attendees, turn on their webcams and keep them on throughout the conference.
So, without further add-ons, let's proceed to introduce our esteemed guests for the second session of Conference 2.1.
Introducing our first speaker, Ms. Sneha Darne, a skilled professional with 6 years of experience as a UX and service designer, who has worked on multidisciplinary projects across enterprise and finance domains. Currently serving as a product manager at Bajaj Finserv, she is responsible for gathering product data, including web analytics and consumer trends. Her specialization is in designing UX strategy, conducting user research and analysis, heuristic and expert evaluation, task flow analysis, wireframing, user testing, and much more. Before joining Bajaj Finserv, she also worked as a process developer with Genpact. She is an alumnus of Duke University in North Carolina, USA, and has a deep passion for business analytics and product development.
Next up, we have Mr. Kushagi Rehanan, a lawyer who has a strong drive for innovation. He completed his legal studies at Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and recognized the need to challenge conventional legal frameworks with a goal to transform the legal industry by merging technology, finance, and law. He developed two remarkable products that cater to the legal market. One of his products is a debt-based platform for financing legal expenses, while the other is an online dispute resolution platform. According to Mr. Rehan, product management is essential in bringing a fresher outlook to the legal industry.
Our next guest is Mr. Ananya Meena, the founder and CEO of Decibel, a distinguished audio brand and India's first Bluetooth speaker manufacturer that has patented audio technology. Leaving his master's program at IIT Madras, he was driven by his entrepreneurial vision to establish an Indian audio product with a reputation for exceptional sound quality worldwide. His goal for Decibel is to elevate the standard of Indian audio products and give them a global platform.
Our next guest is Mr. Shashank Srijan, finally a BTech graduate at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology, who is currently a product manager fellow at Nextly, an upcoming tech platform in Bangalore. Before this, he worked as a finance trainee at Tata Power and a research associate at IIT Guwahati. Apart from his professional pursuits, he is also the co-founder and vice chairperson of IEEE RGIPT.
Moving ahead, we have Mr. Soni Verghese. He is a senior assistant professor at XIME Kochi with over 22 years of experience in diverse fields such as IT, telecom, and education. He has worked with prominent companies such as BPL Mobile, ICFAI University, and Tata Interactive Systems. He holds an MBA from the School of Management Studies at Cochin University of Science and Technology, a master's degree in physics from Mahatma Gandhi University in Kottayam, and has completed an FDB program at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Currently, he is pursuing his PhD from Karpagam University in Coimbatore.
We would further like to request all our guest speakers and attendees to kindly switch on their respective webcams throughout the conference. We'd also like to inform all of you that the HR team is continuously conducting calls in the comment box and the chat box throughout the session. Do participate actively in the same by giving your opinions on the call and have a great learning opportunity ahead. Now, we would like to invite Ms. Neha Darne to share her insights.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you about emerging role of product development for the market penetration for the startups. So without wasting much time, obviously the objective of this particular seminar is to make the young generations know what is actual what product development is, and why do startups mostly need it. So mostly, why do startups fail in the industry? So there are a lot of reasons, such as like bad strategy, bad marketing strategies, poor competitive analysis, and poor marketing, not choosing branding, and obviously the not targeting the right audience. So these are the various reasons that the startups fail. And first of all, let's start with what a product is. A product is what we sell it to the customers, depending on what the customer needs. So, to have a proper product knowledge, we need to first find out exactly what customer needs. For example, um, if I am in a finance industry, then I need to figure out what exactly the customers need. So in Bajaj Finance, I take care of EMI cards. So we know that most of the companies, ICICI, SGFC, most of them has EMI cards. But what is the different value proposition that we offer that the other companies doesn't have? So that makes our product unique. Um, in order to make a product successful, we obviously need to have a different and unique value proposition that other companies doesn't offer. And to we need a proper market segmentation knowledge. And there are different types of segmentation, such as behavioral, demographic, psychographic. So we need to understand what exactly our customer needs. The first thing we need to do is competitor analysis. We need to know who are the emerging companies, our competitors, and then based on that, we need to understand what are the features and functionalities they are implementing in their own products. Also, uh, enhancing our product continuously is a good technique to improve the marketing strategy. If we continuously enhance our product and features, there might be a possibility that a customer may be interested in our product. So uh, in our company, what our strategy is, we continuously do qualitative and quantitative research. So uh, mostly examples of it is surveys, interviews, A/B testing, and other optimization techniques. So for this, we mostly use Google Analytics, Adobe Target, um, Neuralink, and so on and so forth. So after using these tools, there are also a lot of analytical tools such as Medallia, Content Square. You might have heard of Content Square, which gives an insights of what customers' journey is. I feel that a, a product, to make it successful, we need a, a customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is very important. So uh, to get insights of what customers wants. We need to analyze the journeys of the customer. So journey as in from what point a customer is interacting on your website. Is he engaged on your website? What path is he taking from step 1 to step 2 to step 3? So to understand all these journeys, we need to analyze and hypothesis and derive some hypothesis what customer is trying to find out on our website. So these are various strategies that we can use. So apart from that, surveys is also an important technique, quantitative technique that we can use to derive insights what customer needs, and eventually the business will grow. Yeah. um, that's it. Thank you so much.
That was a great speech, Sneha. I just had some questions. As you said, you are dealing in the financial services industry. So, would you like to differentiate between what is the USP offered by NBFCs like Bajaj Finserv, obviously, and different investment banks such as JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs in terms of product, obviously?
Of course. The loan amount that we offer is obviously higher as compared to other banks. So NBFCs offer a higher amount of loan amount. So also the personal loan that we offer, we get an instant disbursal for it. So a customer would obviously prefer a NBFC rather than a bank, instead of like because we have a hassle-free process on our forms. So we make sure that the customer interaction on our forms and our website is very smooth and frictionless, so that the customer doesn't drop off from our website. Yeah.
That's the point. Now, I would like to invite all the attendees to kindly put forward your questions to Ms. Danya. Okay.
Thank you.
If you could just raise your hands and put your questions out here. Anyone? Questions, please. Okay.
Question.
Give us a roadmap. Mohit, if you could. Okay.
Okay. Question. If your company produces a government organically.
That's the poll. Mr. Mohit's question is if you could just give him out a roadmap on how to be a product manager.
Give us a roadmap. Roadmap for what?
To become a product manager.
Acha. To become a product manager. Okay. Basically, for a product to be successful, we need proper designers in our team, a developer, a QA, an analyst, CX analyst. So, roadmap for becoming a product manager is to understand what product are you building, and we need to be very confident of what product that are we going to serve in the market. So just be confident in your product and be confident in what you know, and the journey is smooth then.
Any other questions out here?
We have another question from Pratham. What is the metric you use for customer satisfaction at your company?
Actually, I cannot disclose that, but yeah, we definitely keep an insights by NPS and customer satisfaction score. So we have that installed and integrated on our website. So we track that continuously. We have a form that is integrated on our website and app. We track that continuously, and the metric we use is obviously the drop-off rate, the bounce rate, and customer satisfaction scores as well.
Okay, I hope Pratham it's clear. Does anybody has any more questions?
Palak Manju, no questions out there? Sneha, since you're talking of startups, I had a last question out here. If you doesn't mind it.
Yeah.
Since startups are like very small, usually the founding teams and every team is quite small. They usually use the design thinking process to find out innovative solutions and for product development mostly. So, what would be your advice to such student entrepreneurs as are present in the conference today, who are just using the design thinking process for product development and nothing technical or legal at all?
So I would advise them to use the agile methodology instead of using waterfall methodology. So when an MVP is developed, minimum viable product is ready, we need to test it out to the customers. So suppose we have 100% of the customer base, we need to test it out on 50% of users to check whether the MVP is working or not. You first check it whether the customers are even liking it or not, are they even using it or not, and then can we develop it more, because to test up we need to constantly retest our MVP so that we do not fall short of funds and then create everything and then fail. So it's better to test with the customers and our audience, target audience, and then rethink and pivot on our MVP.
Now, that's quite a feasible idea. Thank you for your contributions here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Anjali, if you can just take over from here.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Neha, for the beautiful speech, and I request you to please share your mail in the comment box for any queries attendees might have. Moving ahead, we would like to invite Mr. Kushagar Elan to commence his speech.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Perfect. Just give me a second. I'm trying to share my screen. I made a
Sure.
small presentation. I'll take a second, guys. Sorry. All right. I hope my screen was visible.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Perfect.
That's
So, see, to start off right off the bat, I wouldn't call myself a product manager per se. I am more of what you say a situational product manager, because I think a lot of product managers you'll see in the field are just a product of their environment, right? So to tell you a little bit about who I am, I'm Kushagril. I'm a graduate in law from Symbiosis Law School, Pune. So I always had a knack for technology. I had a lot of internships in legal tech field, and I was always intrigued by the field. I spent my initial years understanding the Indian litigation landscape. So I was doing a lot of civil litigation. And then what had happened was I wanted to get a view of how the transactional Indian landscape is as well when it comes to law. Then I was in a law firm. I looked into mergers and acquisitions. I looked into investments law, white collar crimes. And as I was nearing my end with just the basic law regime that there was, then I was like, okay, I think I've set up a very good base to be able to shift to something else. And that is when I think I joined Legal Pay, and I found a very good culmination of law, technology, and obviously finance. So to tell you, I have divided this presentation into a few parts. I'll mostly be orienting myself around legal technology because I feel like there have on this 3-day conference a lot of good product managers will come who are probably better than me, more insightful than me. But something which I think I can give you guys is a wholesome view of legal technology. So essentially, what is legal tech? Legal tech is nothing but infusion of software into already existing traditional age-old legal processes. All of that infusion is made through legal software systems. So essentially, if you'll see, there are a lot of systems available in the market, varying from case management to contract lifecycle management. Now, what is a legal technology professional? You can say that a legal technology professional is someone who is involved in the field of legal tech and who's implementing those processes, right? Now, when it comes to legal tech incubators, because this is a very fresh field, if you think about it, not very relevant in Indian landscape, but when you go international, so all of these magic circle law firms you look at, you must have heard name of Allen and Overy, you must have heard name of Clifford Chance. So they have started making their own legal tech incubators. I think Allen and Overy's incubator is called Fuse, and Clifford Chance's incubator is called Create 365. So essentially, what they're trying to do through these incubators is create that perfect environment for emerging entrepreneurs to be able to create these legal tech startups. Now, one might question, why do you need technology in law? I think this is the very right time for technology to be infused in law. If you'd see, the average legal cost, not only in India but even abroad, is rising. And you'd also see that a lot of lawyers are usually overburdened with work, which leads to depression, which leads to stress. Actually, about 66% of the lawyers pan world have reported, as per a survey, that they are suffering from some sort of stress or depression. So essentially, what is product management and why is it required in legal technology? Now, for me, product management was something which was very situational, right? So my definition of product management in a very layman term, because see, product management is of various types. Product management in a startup is very different from product management in an MNC. So according to me, product management is basically owning a product. You essentially act as a product CEO within that whole company. That is, I think, what my CEO always tells me, that I am heading this specific product and I'm the CEO of this product. And now one might question, so product is a very chaotic field. It requires a lot of accountability to be able to get deep into it. So I think roughly, if I could just break down what is product management, at least as per me, I would break it down to three specific phases. First is market research. Market research is where you ideate the whole product, you carry out you carry out customer need requirements, you do user persona testing, you do competitive analysis, you do market segmentation, all of those things. Then comes product development. That is when product design comes into place, usability testing comes into place, prioritization of features comes into place. And then when you come into product launch is then when you make the sales playbook, you make the pricing strategy, you make the unit economics model, so on and so forth. Now, different legal technologies which can be developed with help of product managers. So personally, at Legal Pay, I think I have had hands in developing two products outright, and one was just a byproduct of it. One product which we developed was a financing of legal expenses. So basically, it's an embedded financing related product. And the other product which we have developed is an online dispute resolution forum. But to give you a glimpse of what all practices are there when it comes to legal technology, it can be contract lifecycle management, case management, practice management. It can be notice automation system. It can be e-discovery. It can be outcome prediction. There are n number of possibilities when you just fuse technology and law. Now, one may ask that, if, all right, there is a need for legal tech, we have established that there is a need for legal tech, right? But why do we need lawyers, law aspirants for these product centric roles? Because product is just not about tech. I personally don't believe it is just about tech. My role in my role in technology, I think, is very insignificant compared to what else I do outside the scope of technology. A product manager has to, I think, wear a different hat every day. Someday I'm working because startup is very chaotic, right? Like it is not like an MNC. I'm not going to make a sales playbook for the BD team. I'm going to do the BD. I'm not going to tell the finance team that I want the unique economics model to be shaped in such a way, or a pricing strategy to be shaped in such a way. I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to draft all of the agreements. So essentially, I think when legal in itself has been such an age-old traditional process, and I think when somebody comes from technological background, or be it any background other than law, I think it is very difficult for them to gauge the requirements for the legal market. And that is why I think the entrepreneurial mindset, which is up and coming in our generation, is best suited for product management roles in legal tech. Now, we'll just take a quick look at leading tech startups, India and global, because essentially I have drafted this presentation in a manner that I want to tell the younger generation which is coming after me what can they do, how can they leverage all of the information, how can they leverage everything they have to get into this field. So firstly, the good news is that revenue as of 2021 in legal tech market is booming compared to probably 10 years ago. It was not even one fifth of it. Now it's about $27.6 billion. Expected market value as of 2032 is roughly about $70 billion. Like interestingly enough, our compound annual growth rate in this industry is roughly around 9%, which is actually defeating a lot of up and coming industries. So like the scope is very big over here. Now, this is credits to Future Market Insights, obviously, for the citation. Now, I have just copied and pasted this just to get a perspective on what is happening worldwide when it comes to legal tech. So, if you'll see, if you'll start from Latin America, like there is just that adoption which is kicking in. Now, when you go to the yellow mark, which is basically our country, now we are understanding. So, there are a lot of startups which are coming, like Legality, Spot Draft, ProVakil, etc. There's a number of legal tech startups now. Now we are understanding that we need to automate certain workflows. That is where India is at. And then if you go to the right hand side, which is North America, which is obviously your US and Canada, they have adopted a very well suited structure for legal tech. Market cap valuations are going north of $5 billion. Actually, 45% of the legal market share, which I just showed you in this slide, $27.6 billion, is captured by all five of the companies which have captured the 45% of the market share of this whole amount are US based. So that says something about it. When we look at global, so a lot of law students might be wondering why is LexisNexis up there. LexisNexis is the biggest legal tech startup, and no, it doesn't only offer you legal research tools. It offers you variety of contract discovery, contract lifecycle management tools. Icertis is the largest contract lifecycle management software there is. LegalZoom, interestingly enough, is one of the oldest. I think it started somewhere around 2001. Right now, the market cap in LegalZoom is roughly about $5 billion. Ironclad again is in the line of contract lifecycle management. I think Disco is doing something nice. It is doing cloud computing and it is using artificial intelligence to streamline a lot of workflows. Now, when it comes to India, so the problem I think which India suffers with when it comes to legal tech is we are stuck at contract lifecycle management, automating workflows. I think there is so much more. So see, out of the list which I've put in, Legistify, Spotdraft, and ProVakil are all doing almost. So basically, they are only optimizing your legal ops, more or less. Vakil Search is an online marketplace for your legal needs. And Legal Pay, as I've told you, is where we are building an online where we are building an online dispute resolution marketplace, and we are also creating a lot of other legal tech products. So, coming to this, how can a young legal professional student can transition into product management? See, mine, I think I joined Legal Pay actually not as a product manager, but as a strategist. And then I think I have used all of these things to be able to switch into product management. So one thing which I think is very important is you should be able to understand a few product management frameworks. I think the most generic and the most easiest one and the best one where it is applicable everywhere is a lean business canvas model or just a business canvas model. And then you can just, if you want to be fancy, you can sometimes apply hard framework or rise framework. And then I don't know, there's so many. I don't know, product vision framework hota hai, product porter's five forces hota hai. There are a lot of things. I think conferences are a very good way to understand what is happening in the industry. There are some by the name of Product Leadership Forum, Product School I personally follow. There are a lot of podcast channel as well, which are very insightful. This is product management is good, but product and radio is amazing. When it comes to certification, see, the latter two, I wouldn't recommend someone who's just trying to see if they have a knack for it because they are costly, right? Nobody wants to spend more than 1 lakh rupees just to understand if they like product management or not. So I would recommend Coursera's University of Alberta course. I think if you complete it within a month, it will cost you something around 6 grand. But you'll understand if you want to pursue this or not. And then it is very important to understand all your basic tools. See, as lawyers, we are very heavily focused on Microsoft Word. Our day starts on a Word document, ends on a Word document. Trust me, Word document is not going to get you anywhere if you want to pursue product management. Excel is very important. You will carry your finances, pricing strategy, cost effective models. Everything will happen on Excel. You need to be very well versed with the Microsoft presentation. You will be making pitch decks, investor decks, product decks. You need to have a very good grasp over Google Search Console, and then there are a lot of these softwares like Moz, which will help you understand how you can optimize your SEO. You need to have at least one sprint agile sprint framework and how it functions in hand. Asana is the best one, but if you don't have access to Asana, I think ClickUp offers a very cheap one. Zoho Sprint is a very cheap one. Then I think understand how you can make information architects, because I think that is where like you draw a lot of clarity, and that is why you need business people more in product, right? Because we can simplify things for engineers. So I think Miro is a very good tool to be able to make information architects. Again, Figma I think is a very pretty standard tool, very easy to use. You can learn how to do UI UX designing on it. Then obviously I'm not saying I don't know any coding language per se, I can't code it, but you need to have some sort of basic understanding on how front end development happens, on how back end development happens, on how scripts are run, all of these basic knowledge, how database designs are formed, so that you as a product manager need to know if there is something wrong in your database, what is how did it go there. A lot of times the engineers are not able to figure it out. Then I think a book which helped me a lot understand my synergy for product management was Product Management Simplified Toolkit to Become a PM. It is a lovely book. I think you can get an e-copy if you have a Kindle, or you can just buy it off Amazon. It is cheap only. And then Swipe to Unlock is also a very good book. Oh, right. So I think the last slide which I would like to get to is skill versus grit. So see, product management is much more than just software tools and techniques. I think what made me suitable for product management was a few skills which you need to have. You need to have very good articulation skills. You need to have very good negotiation skills. And above everything, you just need to be accountable. Trust me, if you're accountable, you'll be very well suited for a product role, because product role is all about accountability. Essentially, you're handling each and every function which is there to build a product, take it to market. So I guess that is about it. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to address them right now, or they can reach out to me on this email ID. Any question, guys?
Do we have any questions? Okay, we have a question from Mr. Ananya. How does legal pay works actually?
All right. So although I thought I won't talk much about legal pay because it's like you are just promoting your brand, but to tell you a little, so legal pay is India's largest litigation funder, right? Essentially, what we do is we fund litigations of claimants. And so when I say we fund litigation of claimants, we put on the hat of taking care of every fee there is, ranging from court fee to lawyer fee to every OP there is. And we only get to make any profit if the claimant goes on to actually win that case. If let's say they lose that case, then we don't stand to make any profit. Now, litigation funding is our main model, and we have made a lot of byproducts around it. We were understanding that through litigation funding, we were only catering to the litigation market, right? So there is a huge transactional law market which we were just leaving out. So we built our embedded financing product, which I personally built when I first joined the organization. So the whole point behind that product was to be able to penetrate the transactional law market and essentially offer them debt-based financing, right? Because if you look at litigation funding, it's an equity-based financing. And then to streamline our litigation funding process, because you obviously don't want to end up in litigation all the time, we built our own online dispute resolution marketplace, which goes by the name of Bharat Dispute Resolution. You can check it out. I think that is what Legal Pay stands for.
That's great. Rehan, I had a question out for you. Since you have worked on developing an online ADR forum, okay. So my question here is that what actually made you think that ADR could actually work out online? Like getting clients is a big issue, obviously. Maybe if you could share your thoughts, it could motivate some of our entrepreneurs here.
So see, obviously, like whenever you're trying to change an existing mindset, it's very tough, right? But trust me, especially after COVID, online dispute resolution is there to stay. I mean, I cannot think of going to court, or I cannot think when it comes to ADL, as Mr. Shravan had asked. I cannot think of going to a five-star restaurant and probably, spending a lakh or north of 2 lakh rupees when everything can happen online. So what we are trying to do with the product here is we have built a whole end-to-end online dispute resolution marketplace. We have tied up the APIs of stock holding website, right? So all of the stamp duties happen on our marketplace. We have a central data repository, right? SHA 512 description, industry best. So confidentiality is never an issue. All of the case management tools are over there. You can upload a statement of claim, you can get your arbitral award site, settlement agreement signed. So I think like the possibilities when you take a traditional process online and when you implement it very well, I think like you can just do a lot. So right now, I cannot name our clients, but we are processing upwards of 1 lakh cases a month, right? So you cannot think of doing that on a and our rates are very competitive. Like it's borderline cheap even if you see our rate brackets. But why are we able to achieve that? Because we have taken a age old traditional concept and we have made it into a scalable product, right? So I think that is how, and I think that is relevant in every field there is, not even law, every field. Any other question, guys?
So
Because I'm here
obviously
in Bombay for a conference, so
we do have some
I'm
questions in the
going to
chat box.
back.
If you
All
just
right,
have a look at it.
just a second. Do you think lawyers can be good product managers? See, I cannot say no to this because then I would just be saying that I am a bad product manager. So definitely, yes, lawyers can be good product managers. I think lawyers, by their very nature, are very articulate, right? We need to understand ke, why is something like this, why is it like this, why is it like that, and I think that is all a product manager actually needs to be. You just need to sit every day and you just need to ponder upon why is something like this and why cannot it be like that, right? So definitely, I think lawyers make very good product managers.
So, Yaran, anyone else? Any questions, attendees? Any questions? You can simply raise your hand and put a question out there. Huh? Okay.
All right. It was lovely then talking to you guys. Thank you.
That's great. For the moving ahead, we would like to thank Mr. Kushavir Reharam for his amazing speech and request him to share his email in the chat box for any queries our attendees might have. Now, we would like to invite Mr. Ananya Meena, founder and CEO of Desivo, to commence his
Definitely.
speech.
Yeah, am I audible, Shravan? Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Aranya. I'm the founder and CEO of Desiwood. So let me just start by introducing myself and my company, what we do particularly. So Desiwood is all about Bluetooth speakers. So let me just start what we do. So Desiwood is the first Indian manufacturer who are manufacturing wooden Bluetooth speakers in India. So, and we are also the first audio brand who has got the audio patent. Okay, if I talk about other brands, we are the first brand who have already filed for that and we have successfully got the patent number also. And for my background, I did my BTech in instrumentation and control from NSIT Delhi. Okay, and then after that, I was pursuing my MTech from IIT Madras. And at that time, when I was pursuing, I got an idea of Desiwood. So I dropped out from there and I started working on Desiwood. Okay, so as we talk about this conference is all about product management and how we develop the products. So I would love to talk about the journey of myself and my product, that is Desiwood. So particularly how the products and the Desiwood speakers came into existence. So let me just also give you the bifurcation and the explanation of Desiwood. So Desiwood is an amalgamation of two words, that is decibel and wood. So decibel is the SI unit of sound, and wood because we are manufacturing speakers in wood right now. Okay. So particularly we started working right from the beginning. We were very clear that we are targeting an market particularly. It's a very niche market, but if we are also getting opportunity, because there is a very huge gap in the market. If we talk about, there are so many brands in the market, but they are not particularly focused on audio brands or particularly on audio thing. Okay, if we talk about, there are only 2 to 3 brands in the market which everyone knows, like Bose, Marshall, and House of Marley. These are the 3 big brands which everyone knows about that. But apart from that, there are so many lifestyle brands, Boat, Navy, particularly. They are also into variables, but we are not. Okay, but it's been around 60 to 70 years, and no one is able to come up with a new technology in sound. Okay, and if we talk about internationally, also these 3 brands are known particularly, but there are no Indian brand who is known particularly for their sound texture and the graph sound and the designs of the product. Okay, so the products that we are making right now, particularly, we started with the MVP. When we raised the funds in October 2020, we raised funds on MVP. MVP is a minimal viable product, particularly. So what is minimal viable product? It's the first iteration of the product which is sellable, but you have to improve the product as soon as you launch in the market. Okay, so particularly, to be honest, with my personal experience, we when we raised the funds and we started doing the marketing of the product, so we came up with almost 15th iteration. The product that we are selling right now, it's our 15th iteration that we are selling. And particularly, we work with our audiences, our customers very closely. We always take the feedbacks, and depending upon that, we were able to improve the quality of the products, if we talk about. Okay, and if a brand is particularly and they are working with the customers very closely, the brand will be able to increase the quality of the products altogether, because customer is the king ultimately, if we talk about. Okay, they are paying their hard-earned money to the companies like us, to give us a very good product. But the first iteration that we launched in the market was not a good product. I'm very blunt on that. But after that, after talking to the customers, we were able to increase the quality of the product altogether. Okay, so if a company is coming up with a new product, so they have to do a market research. But on a personal note, I would say that instead of doing a market research, I would say that you can start with the MVP particularly, and then after that, it's a journey. If you are developing the product, if you are doing everything, then after that, it's a journey that you have to do. You have to improve the product. uh, like, it's an infinity loop. If I talk about, it's an infinite loop that you have to improve the product. Okay, if you are not able to improve the product, then the customer won't pay for that. And because the market research and the market feedback is quite important for companies like us. We are a particularly D2C company, and all the customer compare us with big brands like Marshall, Bose, and Boat, and Navy, because they have a very big existence in the market right now. Because Boat has a total percentage share in the market around 40 to 50%, and then after that comes high end products. But the thing is that we have to improve the product. Okay, we can launch the MVP, we can launch our startups on MVP, but you have to put the money in R&D. Particularly, if I talk about other brands, they don't put that much of money in R&D, but as a company in Deciwood, we put almost 5% of the total revenue. We put total 5% of the revenue in the R&D, and it's a recurring thing that we have to do. Okay, and for the product development, it totally takes about your whole team. Okay, if the whole team is working with you, right from the marketing research, and if they are able to target the exact audience, if you are able to identify those audiences for you, then those people are going to pay for your products, particularly if I talk about. Okay, because there are around almost around if a person, if I talk about the stats. Okay, in a middle in India right now, and the person who's earning around 25,000 rupee per month. Okay, it's hardly 10% of the total population out of 140 CR, if I talk about. Okay, and those people, those 10% of the total segment, is your company. Is your audience, is your customers particularly. And if you are able to target those customers and they are ready to pay for that, then you will be able to become a unicorn as soon as possible. Because out of 140 CR, if you are able to sell around 10% to 20% or maybe 30% of the customers, then we will be able to become a unicorn as soon as possible. If I talk about other brands also, like Marshall, they are into market for around 60 years, and they have a revenue of around $3 billion. It's quite low, but they are able to create those speakers which people are loving it. I've been an audiophile right from the starting, but I loved Marshall and Bose speakers. Okay, but then after that, I saw a gap in the market. If I talk about, because there are no Indian brands who are particularly working on those areas. Okay, they are just importing everything from China and just selling it over here, signing all the celebrities and selling it over here with just marketing. But the quality of the product is not good. If I talk about on a long term, on a long run, speakers depletes the quality. Particularly the quality of the speakers depletes. So cause the high end, and ultimately it's Chinese tech. Okay, no one is developing new thing in India right now. Okay, we are the first one who are able to do it, and who is able to do everything right from the starting. Okay, we started the business in 2019, and after the proper research, we came up with the product. And plus for the patent, if I talk about, if a product is giving a unique proposition to the customers, okay, then there's a proper R&D, and you should the customer or the startup, sorry, not the customer, the startup should put money on that. Okay, and if you are able to develop a new tech altogether in the market, then you are good to go. People are going to love your product, and the improvement in the products day by day and month on month, you have to do that. Particularly for right from the starting, and the 15 iteration that we have right now, we started with nothing, okay, to be honest. And then after that, the 15th iteration that we have right now, people are loving our product. We have already sold around 15,000 plus units in the market. Okay, and right from the starting, we were very clear that we want to create a top notch product where people are able to hear a better sounding speaker if we compare our products with other brands right now. Okay, so this is what we do particularly. And I am thank you so much for that, and I am open for your questions right now.
So my first question to you, Mr. Meena, would be
Yeah,
like, as you said, India has got a very like competitive market out here,
yeah,
and even the customers are very price sensitive to precise.
yeah, exactly.
So, if you would like to share any tip of advice for our young entrepreneurs over here, how to deal
Hmm.
with both these situations, being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so Shravan, the thing is that you have to identify your customer. Okay, uh, we have Maruti also, we have Mercedes also, we have BMW also, and every other Indian is able to pay for that. We have different segments. Okay, a person is traveling with Alto, a person buys BMW also. So if you are coming up with a product which is top notch, okay, and you have to cater those, and you have to identify your market, particularly the customers. You will get particularly in India, you can also sell anything. If I talk about, you can sell a product, just a pen with a good story around that. Okay, if you're building your product with a good story, and if people are able to connect with your product, and if you're see, we Indians are quite emotional. Okay, so that's why those big companies like Google, they always come up with a marketing idea which is quite emotional. Okay, people are able to connect emotional things, and they are able to buy that. Okay, so if it cause BMW is also comes with the emotion, cause why people are going with BMW. If I talk about iPhone also, okay, because it's a segment where people wants to show off. Okay, so why they are buying it? See, if a person is earning 25,000, and if see, a person started with a 25,000 rupee salary, and then after that, they that particular person has an aspiration in his mind that one day I am going to buy iPhone. Okay, because everyone is talking about dragging the things. Okay, iPhone is always about show off your things, that I have an iPhone, and I come in that segment, that 10% of segment, if that was I'm talking about. Okay, because people in India are quite emotional, and they want to brag that I can buy that thing. Okay, and if you are able to identify that customer segment, then you are okay to sell your product easily. But it is a journey, and it will take time, particularly. So that is your persistence, and that is your patience that you have to be catering yourself with. That is the thing. And if you're able to identify your customer and your audience, then you will be able to sell a single pen to a luxurious item. Anything is possible in India right now because we have around 140 CR population, and anything you can sell it right now.
That's actually well said, because again, product categorization is quite important. That's
Exactly.
how we actually penetrate the market, to be
Yeah,
precise.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Rutvik here has a question, I guess. Rutvik, you can unmute yourself.
In our Indian market, the people choose the less price product more than the high price product. In the
Hmm.
they want quality product in the less price, but when it comes to the break even point, it is
Hmm.
not so not so it is hard to get the break even point from selling the product in the less price, by selling the product in the less prices. How do
Hmm.
we get the break even by giving the quality product in the less price? That's my question.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rutik, for your question. See, we know that we Indians are quite price sensitive. Okay, everyone comes here. If a startup is if a startup is coming with a new product, okay. So see, if you are coming with a luxurious product, then the price sensitive audience or customer is not your customer particularly. Okay, so you have to identify that market segment particularly. And if you are coming with a 1,000 rupee product or a 15,000 or 1,500 product costing, if I talk about, then you have to cater your customers according to that. Okay, because it's a very competitive market right now. Because there are so many brands, there are cheap brands also. There are also mid brands who are coming up with new products and the marketing strategies. But if you are able to sell that product, and if you are able to come up with a new proposition, like in Deciwood, we have a customization option. Okay, that is, you can have your name, any logo, or any quotation on the speaker's bill. It's like a personalization thing. Okay, it's like you will be able to connect yourself with the product, particularly if you are able, if you order through our website, and if you're ordering that you want a Rutvik customized on the speaker's grill. Okay, and if you're getting that product, then there is a personal attachment to the product. Okay, and if you are able to give that unique proposition to any customer, then customer will buy. And if you are able to uh, give a give your customer a good product in that price segment, then the customer is going to be your fan. The customer is going to talk about your product wherever he or she goes particularly. Okay, and if you are able to do that, and if you are able to communicate, or if you are able to connect with that customer emotionally, then then it's 100% thing that you are able to sell that product to anyone. Okay, and if you have a fan, then he is going to brag your product. This is what we have, this is what we are seeing right now. Because for the customization and the unique proposition that we are offering to the customers right now, they brag our products. Okay, it's like an iPhone which we are giving to the customers, that they can put those speakers, our speakers, with the customization on Instagram. And we are getting around thousands of stories daily that people are loving it. They are putting and they are posting those stories with the personalization on the speakers grill, on our stories particularly. So it's just a what should I say? Uh, it's like a emotion that everyone is attaching themselves, because people are able to buy that product. And most of all, we are quite focused on giving a product which is ultimately having a good sound quality. Okay, personalization is just an option that is we are giving to the customers. But altogether, speaker is always about sound. Okay, and if you are able to give, and if you are able to fulfill that aspiration of the customers, then you are able to sell your products to anyone particularly. That is the thing.
We have also got a question here in the chat box. If you do not mind it, and
Sure, 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 sure.
yeah.
How does that work? As in,
Um, well, not that. The next one. The
okay,
challenge is.
tell us what challenge did you face as a founder? How did you deal? Okay, okay. So as a founder, see, Koshagar has already mentioned that in a startup we have to wear every hat, or maybe we have to play the role right from the starting. You have to be your own manager, you have to be your own marketing person, you have to be your own product developer, or maybe business developer also. You have to crack the deals particularly. So as a founder, you have to be like a person who is flexible in every segment, okay, in every role. Because as a founder, and as your employees are also expecting few things from yourself, from you particularly. Okay, as a founder, when I started working on that, people started asking me, or my relatives also, my family also starting me, what are you doing? If you initially when I dropped out from IIT Madras, I got many questions from my relatives and my parents also. Why are you doing this? You will be getting a very good job out of this if you are pursuing your IIT, and then after that completing your IIT, you will be getting a very good package. But as a founder, you have to be persistent. Okay, you have to believe in yourself that my idea will work. It will take time, but particularly it will see. I've been into business for around like 2019. We established the company, and it's like 2023. It will take time as a founder, and if you have that persistence in you, then you will be able to do that. But it's a very big journey, and it's a very tough journey, because you have to be very emotionally strong. But it's a journey that makes you strong particularly. Okay, you will be able to see many rejections in the journey. Okay, when I started in December, in October 2022, sorry, in October 2020, when we raised our first round of funds, investment. Before that, I got many rejections from the investors also, because I was not very clear with my idea. I was very clear with the idea, but investors always ask every entrepreneur, every founder, what is the market? What are the scenarios and what are the percentage of your market that you are able to cater that? Okay, initially we don't have any idea what we are doing, but see that persistence and that patience and that strong feeling that it is going to work will always make you believe in yourself that it is going to take, but it is going to take time, but it will eventually happen. Okay, in October 2020 we closed around 5 to 6 investors at that time. So investors always put money on founders, not on your idea, because it's a journey, and you are going to change your business models also. Okay, so depending upon that, as a founder, you always see that you always have to be very witty, and you always have to be quite having a good presence of mind particularly. And if you're able to getting any problem particularly in that segment, and you're able to solve those problem as soon as possible, then you are going to have a very quick reflexes in your mind, and you will be able to solve those problems, and you will be able to cater those things also, and your team is going to rely on you particularly if you're able to solve those problems as soon as possible. So these are the things, and you have to be very persistent and very resilient to your ideas.
We have a question from Mr. Roshan Kumar, if I'm right. Roshan,
Okay.
you may unmute yourself. Yeah, am I audible, Roshan? Okay, no issues. We have a question in the chat box as well, Ananya, if you would just play it.
Yeah, can collaborations help us build brand value, or doesn't it make? Okay. So the thing is that for the collaboration with brand value, if I talk about right from the starting, we were very clear. See, we can go into two segments. We have in business, we have to B2B and B2C. Okay, we are manufacturing our products right now in India. So we thought that for a big revenue number, we can easily switch to B2B, or if we want to create a brand in India, then we have to stick to B2C particularly. Okay, because right from the starting, when we started working on Desiwood, many brands or many people approached us that why don't you start making speakers for us with our brand. But we are very clear that if we do that collaboration with those people, And if we switch ourselves to B2B, then we won't be able to work on Desiwood particularly. Okay, yeah, the journey will be very easy, no doubt. We will be having a very big numbers as of now if we decided to switch to B2B. But we were very clear that we want to create a brand, particularly in India, because there are no such brands who is doing the same thing in Indian market. If I talk about, because Chinese domination is quite high in the market right now. Everyone is relying on that. Okay, so depending upon that, we were very clear that we want to create a brand where everyone and everything that we have right now is Indian market right now, from right from the starting. Okay, and right from the starting we were very clear that we want to take Desiwood globally, as there are no such brands from India right now who is known globally for their audio quality. Okay, so that's why we decided to stick to B2C market, not D2C. Sorry, not B2B. So yeah, I know that the journey would be very easier for us, but uh, as I already told you that an entrepreneur should be very persistent, and and he should believe in his idea. So that's why we stick to B2C part. Yeah, can I take this next question? How does market
Anjali, if you
penetration?
could continue from here, please.
Yeah, how does market penetration pricing help with efficiency? It does.
Who are the target audience? Firstly, when you launch your MVP trial product.
Okay, so Rutvik, we started with a very small pricing product. We started with 600 rupee. Okay, right. So we were very clear that because India is a very big market, and if we are able to create a very massive product, then people are going to buy that. But the price segment and the customer segment will be like they don't give much about the quality of the product. Okay, so we started with just a 600 rupee product to create a buzz in the market that there is a brand in the market right now who is working on a product, and the customization was our top most selling thing that we were doing at that time. Okay, so that was 600. Then we came up with a 1,000 rupee product, then 2,000 rupee product, and then 3,500 rupee product, and the highest selling product, the highest price segment product that we have right now is 5,000 rupee. So it takes time. It took us time around 3.5 or 2.5 years, 2.5 to 3 years to come up with the total SKUs that we have right now. And as a customer, as I already told you that we always work on the feedback. We always take the feedback from the customers. Okay, so the products that we have right now are totally developed after taking the feedback from the customers. Okay, so this is how we started. Okay.
Okay, I hope it's clear, Ritvik.
Yeah, how does market penetration pricing help with efficiency? It doesn't. Yeah.
No, Mr. Nanya, it's just a poll question for the audience.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Any other questions?
Okay. I hope there's no question. Is there any question? All right, let's move ahead then. Thank you, Mr. Ananya, for the wonderful
Thank you so much,
speech. I
everyone, for your
request you
time.
please.
Thank you so
I
much.
request you please share your mail in the chat box for any queries attendees might have. Okay. Now I would like to invite Mr. Soni Verghese to commence his speech.
Hi, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're audible.
You are clearly audible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, listening to the previous three industry experts, I feel like just like so I just take an anticipatory way. Like it will be purely an academic orientation level session from my end because I'm not being an entrepreneur. So I teach in a business school where we create entrepreneurs. So my discussion point would touch upon certain points which already been discussed or pointed out by Sneha some of the analytics statistics just been shared by Kushagar, and one or 2 points just been touched upon by Ananya Meena also. So I was thinking of how to make it different. So I thought of give some examples to what these points they were pointed out with respect to 2 startups and 1 MNC company with respect to the presentations I have made. So I'll just share my screen. Is it visible?
No,
Not
it's not
yet.
visible yet. The fifth button from the fourth button from the left, rectangular icon with the upper headed cursor. Yeah, now it's visible.
Visible now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So it's visible for you, but it's not showing on me. I don't know. Is there an issue? Able to see that. Okay. Somebody says that I should share only the tab. Sorry for
No issue. You can
inconvenience.
share it once
We
more.
mainly use this. But the tab option is not.
It's visible. If you could just switch to your PPT slide, that would be great.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, and sorry for the inconvenience. So I'll be more focusing on that the 2 elements, that is product development and market penetration. Okay, so I'll start with some of the statistics, which will be interesting for, as you mentioned in the previous speakers, there are a lot of budding entrepreneurs in this platform which are looking to become entrepreneurs. So the Indian startup ecosystem is trying to create a 10 trillion economy in India. So if you talk about the Indian startup ecosystem, it is third largest startup ecosystem in the world. So 96,000 plus startups, and its value create is somewhere close to 500 billion US dollars. Okay. And if we look at it's a glance of the startups, so they have raised from 2014 to 22 US dollar 136 billion. Then there are 520 accelerators and incubators, 750 institutional investors, 2480 plus active investors, and 950 acquisitions. And 67% of all these active startups are concentrated in the area of Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai. And Bangalore saw some 40% of the total deal value between 2021 to 2022. Okay. And this is an interesting statistics to us, got from the UN population. That means Indian average or the median age is 28.7. The population is 28.7. So we are not an Asian country, which gives an immense opportunity for youngsters and budding entrepreneurs to create their own enterprise and become unicorns. Okay. So at present, India's 108 plus unicorns created $350 billion in value. And the projection is by 2025, there could be 250 plus unicorns in India. Okay. Now, going into the crux, okay, what is startup ecosystem? So the success rate of startup is very low. Why that is low? So we could say that most of them fail because of within few years of operation. The key reason for this failure is inability to penetrate into the market effectively. That is what is the point of discussion for this entire seminar or the conferences. So how does the product development or enhancement in the product that could create a sustainable company in the market or sustainable ecosystem is created? So I'll be more focusing on 4 points. That is the customer needs, which was touched upon by Sneha, the competitive advantage, the profit margins, and the brand building, which was just touched by the Sneha in her presentations. So if you start with understanding customer needs, so she explained that we need to reach out to the customers with their interests, what the desire, the needs and wants of the customers. So I'll share a story of an MNC, not a startup. It's like the story of Nescafe. So the story of Nescafe is what we mainly quote this in our marketing classes. Like during First World War, the entire supply chain system collapsed. And FMCG company, big FMCG company like Nestle, the profit share has started declining. They understood that there is a market for the product for milk products because it's a basic product. So what they done is they made some arrangement with the governmental system because governmental system act as a supply chain system for them, and they could easily sell their product to the government system. The story never ends there. Once the World War was over, they had abundant milk products in their hand, and the other companies started coming up. The government system also started coming up. So they found that their milk products are in excess with them. What to do with that? So then they thought of another product enhancements. They created milk chocolate that time because the dark chocolate were famous in that time. So they created milk chocolates and they created a market out of it. Okay. So the story never ends there. Then again, the Second World War started. So again, the product and the profit share of all the companies started declining. That is during 1936, Nescafe introduced a new product during the World War II. That is the Nestle coffee that's famously called as the Nescafe. So what was so special about it? They started giving this to the soldiers. Because of that caffeine intake in that, or the caffeine presence, it acted as a stimulus for the soldiers, and the US government liked it. And not only to the US, to the enemy Germany also, they started supplying the instant coffee. So they created a market with that instant coffee. And it made a place in the war kits of the soldiers. Not only it stops there, once the war was entered, government introduced this Nescafe sachets into the care kit which was given to the citizens. So they created a big audience or target audience out of that product. And it was not a product which was introduced just like that. They started the research way back in 1929, but it was the right time for them to put it in the market. So how do they increase the market penetration? So they increased it, but the story never ends there. They thought that the Japan is an emerging market after World War II. They had a full confidence that they are going to gain the market in Japan, but they failed utterly in Japan. So it was a setback for a company like Nestle. They could not succeed with their very good product, which was accepted by the entire Europe and US and North America and South America market, but it was failed in Japanese market. So what they have done is there the research plays a role for the product development and the market penetration. So what they have done is they brought back a psychologist and they studied the sample of people in Japan, and they found out that they don't have that taste of coffee in their mind because they found that Japan is a tea-loving country. They don't know the taste of coffee. Now the task was how to introduce this coffee into this market. Now they adopted the same technology or the tactics which Colgate introduced to introduce the toothpaste in the Indian market. So they created, or they thought that they will target the kids with a toffee or chocolate which has flavor of Nescafe. But to their surprise, this chocolate was welcomed by adults as well as kids. So they slowly introduced the Nescafe into the Japanese market, then it became successful. Now, if you ask me, it is the third largest importer of coffee in the world. So they import somewhere close to 420,000 tons of coffee per year. That is the story of Nescafe which created that. Then how do we create competitive advantage? Because Neha talked about, Ananya talked about the USP of products. A startup create unique products that will be successful. So I introduce another story of a Secunderabad-based startup. I don't know, have you heard of a company called GoodX? Because I'll introduce another concept called market structure. Maybe students over there, they know that the market structure, there could be perfect competition, there could be monopolistic competition, monopolistic market or perfect competition. So GoodX, as you said, it's like a startup which exports eggs to the Indian, they sells eggs in Indian market and export it to the global market. Okay, so you may feel that what is so very peculiar about an eggs? It's a very perfect competition condition product because it's costing 4.5 rupees or 6 rupees for an egg. Okay, but the GoodX company personnel's done an extensive research on the contents of the eggs. So I have noted down some of the content because I found it very difficult to repeat it. So what they understand is like good egg should be full of antioxidants, nutrients, and there should be products or the contents like carotenoids and selenium. And these are the things which makes a egg perfect. Okay, so what they have done is they have done an extensive research on egg, how to increase the content of this in an egg. And they understood that the hen should be treated well. So what they say is like, they are making these hens into a stress-free world. And the feed they created a vegetarian feed, they say, which is suitable to increase the level of these contents. And you know what price they are selling this eggs at? They are selling this eggs at 12 rupees. So that is the USP or the point of difference that created in the market. And they are quite successful in this market and a perfect competition to a monopolistic market. They created a monopolistic market with that product. Maybe some of the other companies may replicate it, but they have the advantage of first mover advantage for that one. Okay. Now, moving on to the other thing, higher profit margins. With the example of this GoodX, the product that developed based on the customer needs and preferences. That's like Ananya Meena was talking about. The product which has got maybe higher price point also, they feel that there's a value for money, like this egg, with nutrients, high calories, and they feel that. And I have tested that egg, and when you break an egg, you will have a foul smell when you smell it. But that egg doesn't have that smell because the yolk is very golden brown in color. The carotenoid level is very high. And even they say that there is that Bureau of Veritas standards tested these samples and which gives that the presence of omega fatty acids and vitamin A, E, D, and selenium content in high in that eggs. So that created a very good market and high profit margins for that company. Okay. Now the last thing I want to explain is about the brand building. So the successful product development can also contribute to brand building. So again, I'll go back to another example. Maybe you may be knowing about one of the other startup within South India, which is called ID Food. which was started by 5 cousins, and the main person is Mr. Mustafa. He's an IIM Bangalore product, and he started this company in 2005. And again, as Ananya was talking about, his family and friends, relatives thought that he is very crazy because the product he launched was what? Idli dosha batter. And I am Bangalore product, working for an MNC, resigning from the company and started selling idli dosha batter. And the tagline was made with love. And now at present, the company valuation is $486 million. They have 15 products line for them. And again, for the budding entrepreneurs, their story or their journey was not that smooth, because with this Bangalore success, they moved into a neighboring state called Chennai, and they were failed utterly with their batter, because there were local vendors with better prices. Ritik was asking about the pricing. Okay, they had better prices in that market. They preferred the batter of the competitor rather than ID Foods. Then what they done is like, they marketing, there is a strategy called brand laddering strategy. You started from the smaller benefits, the emotional benefit. So what they have done is like, they have introduced their other products into the market. So gain the customer loyalty, the preferences. Then they reintroduced again their batter into the market, and it was successful in the Chennai. So this is how the ID Foods became successful in the Chennai market. So just like this, every startup could build their own brands or brand identity. Just like ID Foods says that we made with love. Maggie says that easy to cook. Raymond says that complete man. And when we talk about Johnson & Johnson, we see a relationship between a mother and a child. So these kind of brand identity, when you build your products, which has been coming out from you, that creates a good value system and that sustains in the market. Okay. So these are the 4 points I want to introduce to the young audience. So to conclude, product development is a critical component of any startup success. Create, innovate, customer-centric products, and build a strong brand. The startup can achieve market penetration and establish themselves as leaders in their respective market. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Firstly, that was an amazing speech, Dr. Soni. Further moving ahead, I would like to put some questions to you. As an experienced faculty into management from so many years, literally, what is your perception on the youths as of today, Generation Z especially, the way it is turning towards entrepreneurship instead of going for regular jobs and placements?
So, I'll take an example of my institute. So, my institute is Civil Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship. We have 3 campuses. Bangalore, a 30-year-old campus, Kochi, a 12-year-old campus, Chennai, a 6-year-old campus. So what I have observed is every batch we have entrepreneurs. But what they have done is because by grace of God, we achieve 100% placements every year. So they work for 2 years, and after 2 years, they at least 3 students start their own company. So when I interacted with the students, they said it's they are they want to be independent. They don't want to work under somebody. They want to be independent. Only thing is say they have invested 10 lakhs rupees as fee. So there is a return of investment. They give it back to their parents or maybe a loan that they want to write it off before they start or venture anything, something new. So that is what they do. So at least by 2 years' time, they start up. They start an entrepreneurship venture at their own. But only thing is the mindset is clear. I should say that 25 to 30% of the students, their mindset is clear. I don't want to work under anybody. I want to start my own. So that mindset is there. And one of the advantage for our campus is Kerala Startup Mission, Kerala Startup System is a kilometer away from our campus. And recently it is ranked as the world's best startup ecosystem in the world. And Swedish space agency has created it, and they are going to award some awards for this Kerala Startup Mission. So these students are given live projects with the startup system. So they go there after the classes and they work. So we are inculcating that entrepreneurship mindset for these candidates also. So to answer your questions, at least I would say that because I shown that the average ages of Indian population is close to 28 years. So they are having this mindset to create their own entrepreneurship ventures.
Now that was quite an elaborative answer, Dr. Soni. Further moving ahead, I would like to invite all the attendees to put forth their questions. Mr. Vivek Raghuvanshi, if you could just unmute yourself and ask your question straight away. Yeah.
So, as you talk about brand building, so what are the major aspects we have to focus in order to gain much attention in the market or by the consumer, which we are providing our product? What are the major aspects we have to focus on?
See, in a startup ecosystem, I would say, even if it is a big company also, it is not as easy to make the attention of the people. Unless, see, for example, I'm coming out with a new mobile, I would say it's SKA mobile phones. Will you buy it? See, my brand is SKA. SKA mobiles. Will you buy it?
No,
Why?
because I didn't know much about it.
Yes. But you will definitely go and buy an Apple
Yeah,
iPhone.
definitely.
You will buy it. So it's not something which, because you know that now there is a Mango mobile phone which was introduced to the market, and the brand ambassador was Sachin Tendulkar, which was utterly failed in the market. Because create a brand, a sustainable brand in the market, it takes time. And if your product is of not that quality-wise product, it will, or whoever be the brand ambassador, how much money you invested in for promoting that brand, it will not sustain in the market. It not only the price, the quality of the product should be also be good. See, 2005, a company was starting with the idli batter. So if you ask my mother to buy an idli batter from outside, she will kill me. She'll say that I'll make it. Now she's buying it from outside. A product which was very unique in your house, like you cook or make chapatis at your home, or you buy it ready to cook. So this is how normal those academic sessions now they ask written questions also. So please don't mind that.
Okay. Pratiksha, but you can just unmute yourself and repeat your question. Yeah, Pratiksha, I hope I'm audible. Anjali, if you could just read out the question.
Yes, sir. I'm Pratiksha Bhatt.
If you could just read
Please
out your
ask.
question, Pratiksha.
Okay. So, what is
Pratiksha, I
marketing?
understand that you are talking about what would be the marketing strategies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So strategies are formulated based on your target audience. Okay.
Okay.
So just like Ananya Meena talked to you about different segments of cars, Alto to BMW. Okay. So you again, Maruti, if you take, we have Alto to Grand Vitara. So it was catering to a different segment. It could be the segmentation is based on their income. So just like in the first speech, I don't know you have heard about Sneha. She was talking about how the segmentation is done. It could be psychological, it could be behavioral, it could be based on the income factor, age factor, your society, the cultural aspect. All those things are taken care, and based on that, you formulate the strategy. So you to make a strategy, you do the research and understand which all customer you are going to cater this product into. Okay, so that is what the first step of the marketing strategy is. Then you now take the channels. See, if the product is for the youth, see, the strategy would be to take the social media because everybody is on social media. Okay, so when you talk about the age factor, see, there was a recent, I don't know, have you heard of a magazine called Detail Images? There was a study which was conducted for baby boomers, maybe the age of 50 plus females. They were complaining that, see, we don't have a choice. See, if I go to buy a sandal, I don't have a choice. If I take a sandal of which my daughter wears, Hindi, so they say that they started coming that with a boutique kya pehn rahi hai. This is for younger generation, and she is wearing this sandal. So we create strategies and product based on the target audience, and this target audience is based on the segmentation what we do. That is the first step of strategy. So based on that, we create the strategies. I hope I answered you, Pratiksha.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratiksha.
That was a great speech, Dr. Soni. I really appreciate it from the depth of my heart. Further, I would like to thank Mr. Soni for his informative and elaborative speech. I would also like to request Mr. Soni if you could just share your email ID in the chat box, so that if any of our attendees have further queries, they can just mail you out there.
And thank you so much, SP Associate, for the invite. I don't know, I didn't find much academicians in this, and it was very interesting and enriching experience from the industry perspective of time, because I love this kind of thing, because these are some of the examples we quote in the classes so that we enlighten the students also. So thank you so very much for this invite.
Our pleasure. We would like to take a moment to extend our sincere thanks to all of our brilliant speakers who joined us today. Your unique perspectives and insightful contributions have truly made this conference an enriching experience for all involved. We would also like to give a big shout out to all our attendees. Your attentive participation and engagement have been an invaluable part of this event, and we really appreciate your involvement. We would also like to request all the attendees to kindly vote for today's best speaker by typing the name of a preferred guest speaker of today in the chat box. Please, we will just begin. We have got 30 attendees, and I can at least expect 28 votes today. And yeah, just for a note, the polls will also go out in the conference groups. You may even vote out there. But yeah, again, I would appreciate votes here. Sneha Keshri, you're supposed to vote for your favorite guest speaker, not for yourself. Faster. We have got just 60 seconds. Time slipping by. Come on, more votes. That's good. That's great. Awesome. So further moving ahead, I would like to announce that the top 3 guests of Conference 2.1 shall be declared after the end of the third session tomorrow. We shall return tomorrow with the third session of Conference 2.1 on emerging role of product development for market penetration in the startup ecosystem. Until then, stay tuned and keep it. Have a great day, everyone.